So Graham Stephan is almost comically frugal. He's a very smart and successful investor in both the stocks and the real estate world. But we all know that his investing strategies are extremely conservative. Dollar cost averaging into the S&P 500, don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and never commit the cardinal sin of paying $20 for avocado toast. So given his conservative streak, what are his thoughts on one of the riskiest investment sectors in history? Cryptocurrency. How much is he personally invested? Exactly what coins is he invested in? And where does he see this space going in the future? Well, I found out for you, and you honestly might be surprised.
I took a loan out on every single one of my 5 properties, and I maxed that out, and then was able to get some further loans through, my bank. And I put it all in Bitcoin.
All I ask in return is you smash that like button down low for me, put on your bankroll coffee hat, and let's jump in. So it should come as no surprise to you that Graham Stephan started his crypto journey as extremely skeptical of cryptocurrency. He actually said he first started watching the Bitcoin price as far back as 2011. And in 2017, he said even though he's a fan of the cryptocurrency technology, he's just curious and wants to see where it goes and will not be investing his own money into such a volatile asset. The biggest reason Graham didn't invest was he said it was really hard to say what Bitcoin should be worth. For example, why would Bitcoin be worth $5,000 instead of $50,000 or even $1 million a coin? He concluded that unlike stocks, where business performance underlies the price of that stock, the only thing driving up or down the Bitcoin price is pure speculation, and therefore that this asset is way too volatile and way too risky for Graham to invest his own money in. Classic Graham. In fact, Graham concluded, and very logically, that he should invest his own money in assets and industries that he knows really well, like real estate.
I almost tripled my initial investment on the property I bought last year. So if I decide to invest in Bitcoin at the price right now, which is about $9,000 a coin, it would have to get to $18,000 a coin for me to get the same return that I got in real estate this year. So when I think of the amount of risk I'm willing to take in Bitcoin versus the almost certainty I feel investing in real estate, I choose the safer measure of real estate. Now, Bitcoin could very well go up to $30,000.
But funny enough, that same year, just a few months later, Graham did a full 180. He said with enough people in his comments and emailing him directly saying that he's gonna miss out, Graham got FOMO and finally entered the cryptocurrency world.
So I thought to myself, you know what? Why not? Let's try this out, give it a shot, and see what happens. I wanted to get a first-hand experience of what it was actually like to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency. Just like in real estate, it's one thing to have a textbook knowledge of how it's done, to know investor psychology, to think what should happen and what's expected to happen. But until you actually do it, you don't quite have the context behind it. I'm using this like a crash course education in what cryptocurrency is all about and really understanding it firsthand.
He wanted a better education into crypto, and the only way to get there was to invest. So he bought $5,000 of Bitcoin, $5,000 of Ethereum, and even a small bag of a Litecoin. And even more interesting, he actually decided to start day trading his Bitcoin, making $500 in a few minutes. Not classic Graham. Risque Graham. Scandalous Graham. We still don't know if he went out later that night and bought $20 avocado toast. But Graham says he loves to find undervalued stocks before anybody else and loves the game of trying to invest in them before everybody else realizes their potential. He said he 100% can understand the same addiction in the crypto world, trying to identify those 100x potential protocols before the mainstream finds them, which is exactly why we set up wallet tracking software in our Patreon, because then we can invest in these tokens and protocols before big crypto influencers shield them to their millions of followers. In fact, the small act of Alex Becker, one of the biggest crypto influencers, just liking a tweet of a small market cap gaming altcoin shot the price up 400% in just 2 weeks. So if you enjoy the game as much as Graham and as much as myself, you should consider joining our Patreon. We have a great supportive community, influencer buy alerts, and crypto cheat sheets for the fastest rising tokens before they reach mainstream narrative for you to investigate. If that excites you, I'll leave the link in the description below. For everyone else who's not excited by that, keep enjoying the free stuff. Graham also said that he loved that crypto markets were open 24 hours a day and you could play and invest in them at any hour of the day. So as Graham became more crypto educated through his experimentation, he actually discovered that he was a massive fan of the crypto technology. He then decided to dedicate 1% of his entire net worth portfolio to both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But of course, in the typical Graham Stephan fashion, dollar cost averaging into each of these protocols so he didn't buy in at a peak. Now the crypto stepping stones always lead deep deeper and deeper into this exciting and enchanting world on the frontier of human innovation. And Graham Stephan was not impervious to its intoxicating potential. The more Graham actually uncovered this potential, the more money Graham Stephan actually started to allocate into it. In fact, Graham went from investing just 1% of his total portfolio to 1 to 2% a couple of weeks later, then saying 3%, then 5%, then 5 to 6%, and finally, Graham said that he invests 8 to 10% of his total portfolio into cryptocurrency. But exactly which cryptocurrencies did he decide to invest this money into? Because 10% of Graham Stephan's portfolio is no small portfolio. Well, like all reasonable men, Graham Stephan wanted historical data to see which cryptocurrencies were safest and paid the best return. And the data that he came across has been his crypto investment philosophy ever since. Graham came across this study revealing that the safest investments in crypto is simply to dollar cost average into the top 10 cryptocurrencies over the period of a few months.
The most reliable method of investing is simply to buy an equal amount of the top 10 coins every single month and then doing absolutely nothing. As you can see, a long-term hold, regardless of the year you first invested, has so far produced a positive return in excess in that of the stock market.
I believe that Graham actually sees these top 10 crypto tokens as sort of an S&P 500 index of the crypto world, where the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the US economy, and the top 10 crypto protocols all have a proven track record and are the most invested in tokens in the Web3 world. In fact, before I reveal exactly what these tokens currently are, I'd like to put forward a name for this index fund, the GNS 10, in honor of Graham Stephan. And right now, the GNS 10 consists of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Ripple, Cardano, Solana, Dogecoin, Polygon, Polkadot, and Tron. But Graham actually did take his investing strategy a little bit further, getting slightly more risque. Graham was sponsored by a company called BlockFi. I'm unsure if he's still sponsored. He said he also puts a portion of his cryptocurrencies into BlockFi so he can earn a passive income yield on these crypto. I believe around 8% a year, which is pretty phenomenal. However, I'm not sure if Graham Stephan still does this, given the scandal that went down with a few of BlockFi's competitors like Celsius just absolutely crumbling to the ground because they didn't know how to manage their customers' money. So be careful there. But believe it or not, things actually get even spicier for Graham. And unlike his penchant for safe and traditional investments, the rise of the metaverse and the small market cap altcoins that came along with it caught Graham's eye. These were the tokens and digital lands with 100x potential. As Becca says, the thick and juicy 3 a.m. late night gain. But surely this sort of riffraff did not catch the eye of a traditional and safe investor like Graham Stephan. Well, you might be surprised. Graham was very intrigued by it all, stating that his research showed that the metaverse is predicted to become a $600 billion a year industry in the not too distant future. And because of this stat, Graham would actually go on to invest over $1 million directly and indirectly into metaverse infrastructure.
Between those investments, I'll have over $1 million directly and indirectly invested in the metaverse without risking it all in the event one of them fails.
But what did Graham buy? Was it these late night juicy altcoins? Well, interestingly enough, Graham actually came up with his own really cool strategy. He actually decided to invest in companies associated with the metaverse instead of the in-game tokens and assets in the metaverse gaming protocol. Exactly what were these investments? Well, Graham invested into Google, Apple, Facebook, Matterport, a 3D rendering software that can take any real-world space and instantly replicate it within a metaverse world, Snapchat, Nvidia, who invented and produced GPU cards needed to support high-end metaverse graphics, and lastly, Graham invested in AMD, another company producing the hardware necessary to run the future of our technology. Graham also said that his Ethereum bag is now up to 5% of his total portfolio because a lot of metaverses are actually building on the back of Ethereum. And if you like Graham Stephan as much as us, you'll enjoy the video where we made Graham Stephan a billionaire using cryptocurrency. I'll link that up in the description below.